Welcome to Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths, where you can either die with the lie or.
The truth will set you free.
And I am the Alex E. Miller, and that lovely voice of reason you just heard was.
Toya vegan Mommania.
And as we always do on Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths, we allow the guests to introduce themselves. So treat it like the first day of school, first day on the job. Tell us everything we don't know, everything we should know, what we need to know. Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Moon Mason. Most people know me just from Instagram, but I guess from sharing kind of sexy images and then also sharing my spiritual path and my teachings and things like that.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So as far as speaking on teachings, the phrase is tied to you as a world's sexiest life coach. And I know there's plenty other teachings that you have, partake in like, on your own. Everything down from meditation, yoga, and a couple others that I've seen you were ayahuasca and tantra. So even you doing research on the type of water that you drink. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of break down what you do and the ayahuasca and tantra stuff, like how that works. Because a lot of people, those aren't, the most common terms.
I think for me, it was just a path of being healthy and being, I guess, like they say, living your best life, and when you really dive into everything you're consuming, you just want to like if you're really, really die hard about it, you're going to just go deep and like really dig for like the best things, you know what I mean? Whether it's the water or it's like plant medicine like ayahuasca. So, I mean, I think that from experience, I've just done everything. And, most things that I've tried have had some effect on where I'm at. Well, I guess everything you do has an effect on where you are today. But like there are things that can really help you evolve, I guess, and just figure this life out.
Right.
Gotcha. Ayahuasca. So what is that something where someone can you Google that? You know what I'm saying? The same way you can Google like massage therapy. Like
Yeah.
how does
Yeah.
that work?
Like, first of all, like, I feel like, I don't mean to like rag on you or anything, but I feel like we need to stop saying like Google it, because I feel like Google is also like one of these companies that are really censoring things. And like, there's some other search engines
Like
and
Duck
things
Duck
now.
Go?
Yeah. But there's another one. I haven't even
Is
downloaded it yet,
it
but I do
Brown browser or Brown or
something like that. Like, it
Yeah,
is something.
yeah.
for myself, being like on my own spiritual path, and I'm getting so much information from different people. I discovered, and I was telling someone that actually was like sharing things with me, like about myself or what I may need to look into. And I was like, I don't like this Google situation. Like, I'll go on and immediately know that this is not what I'm looking for.
Right.
This is not answering what because I can feel like this ain't it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
So that is, if you know, that would be interesting. That would be something good for me and other people that are trying to find like what other because I didn't even know there was any other way
I think it's
besides a
a
book.
Brave browser was the name of it. That was
yeah, I
like
think
Brain
that
browser.
is the one that I need to get that so bad. I don't have it yet, but yeah,
I need
like,
to write that down.
I think for me, right when I heard about it, like ayahuasca, for example, from a friend,
Yeah.
I knew it was something that I wanted to try, but it took me a while to try it. And then, like, I saw some documentaries, and in the documentaries, you can pretty much tell, like, that the people are being real, and then hearing from other people, and I'm just like not fearful of things like that. I know a lot of people, like, because there are a lot
I
of
am.
bad
Yeah.
story, or there's a lot
My
of
friend, yeah, my friend wants me to, and I'm like, no, I'm scared. I'm petrified. I don't even like taking Tylenol. So
yeah,
I'm
but
one of those weird people. Like, I'm terrified of like, I don't know, just something happened to me, period. Like, I don't know.
well, the thing is that is challenging for some people, but like I think it's a good balance. I think most people it's very powerful and healing and enlightening and good. But then there are some people where it's rough, but even through that rough, like they've changed their ways after and they're like happier people. And you always come through stronger for sure. Like worst case,
Either
you're going to
way.
be stronger and you're going to feel
either
like
way.
I think it's very important to make sure you're doing it around like the right people too. You know, it's like you can't just like do it with like anybody.
I wouldn't do it on my own. I think they have actual like specific places you can go, right? To do it. Like that's not something I would do at home.
No, it's a ceremony. It's sacred plant medicine. So you do it with a shaman, or somebody who has been someone that you believe in and like you talk to and you resonate with and you feel safe with, and really word of mouth is the best way for that. I mean, you can go online. There's like tons of retreats and I do recommend like a retreat probably for the first time. I mean, I think a lot of people, they just kind of do it. They might just do it in like their city or something. But I think that it's better to really put yourself immersed in that environment and do it. But if you do it, it's still like a good thing.
Okay. No matter how, like, can you share kind of like what your experience was? Are you
my experience is like mine is all about like feeling more than anything. So I really feel so much energy, like the energy of creation. It's very euphoric for me. It's like ecstasy, like it's like literally like orgasmic for me personally. And it's just, I do see beautiful things too, like the colors and the shade, like everything that I see is beautiful. And it's like just so like this vibration like just powers me up and like just like it like recalibrates. It's like kind of I guess upgrading your DNA. I mean, that might sound kind of like woo woo, but like it's definitely recalibrating it to like where it needs to be. You know what I mean? And it's definitely like it wasn't always easy. So for me, my experience where it was okay, so I've done it like 13 times now. And the first set of ones was really clearing like my sexual centers. And it was like really painful. And it was like really like pleasure and pain, like really like, you know, like sometimes when
what do you mean with that? Like, what are you literally, when you say that, like I'm going through pleasure and pain, what do you mean?
Physical.
What's going on?
Like physical, like this is at the beginning, it's like physical pain. Like I was like, you know, like moaning and groaning, like, or like, I don't know. It's like kind of like a gamut of like sexual like feelings, like but also pain, like just physical pain I can't explain, but I knew it was like doing something. Like I felt like it was just like, or I, you know, when you're going through it, you just go through it, and it's best to like feel and let it out, and really like you really have to surrender to it. But anyway, so like I mean I could talk about it forever, but basically like that was first, and then like after that happened, then like the next kind of sets was like working on like my womb space, and it was like all, like also some pain and clearing and just like emotions and just I don't know, kind of. And then it moved up to the heart, I swear, and then it was more like heart opening and loving, and I didn't have the pain at this point. Like once I've done this many ceremonies or whatever, it like the pain part really
went making its way through all your chakras.
Like kind of like it has to like clear them, you know, and heal that. And then like then I remember then it was like the throat, and I was like just wanting to like sing, and I was like like I was just like wanting to sing, and I like, and I did like in the ceremony. I mean, I didn't sing like crazy, but I would just like, I don't know. It was a really crazy ceremony. And then it was definitely just like full, like blasted, like consciousness. And so for me, it wasn't like, you know, it took me a while to get to that point, you know what I mean? And I'm glad I kept going.
Is there like, cause you're my first person actually talking to someone that actually has done it. Like I said, my friend wants me to do it. She wants to try it. Like, do you ever go through something where you're like, you're feeling, like you said, you're feeling a lot, but do you see a lot of things that you've been through that maybe you didn't remember or you do remember and it brought clarity? You went back and you visualize it. Is that a part of the experience at all?
I think a lot of people go through that, but me personally, I don't, because I think that,
Okay.
I don't know why, actually. I'm not sure why, but for me, it's like
Yeah.
more like just being in the moment and like letting it go. But I think some people, they've held on to
Okay.
so many things that they have to see
Oh,
it and they have to release it or something. But like I was doing, like I had a really strong meditation practice before I did it, and I think that
okay.
helped me a lot for sure. Like,
Yeah. And then in everybody's situations are different. Whatever you're holding on to, whatever has you bound is different. Everybody's is different. So I can understand that.
yeah, it's so different. It's really, I don't think I've ever actually talked to somebody who had a real close similar experience to me. And I don't think,
Okay.
I'm sure other people might feel the same. It's just so unique. But I
Yeah.
do think most people will say that they feel that love, they feel that vibration.
Yeah.
They realize that we're all connected. They realize, like, they come to some clarity, and it's like always ends up being a good thing. But you have to just be able to surrender. Like, some people, they try to control it, and I just kind of like I don't know, like, when we like are like, if we're younger and we're like getting higher, we're like doing something,
Yeah.
and like we're like, I need to stay, like, it's all about like still being like centered so you don't make a fool out of
Me.
yourself. It's like the
Yeah.
opposite when you do ayahuasca. You just want to really just let go, and just be.
It's almost like being able to be okay. I think okay, I'll say me. My biggest fear was death. So I, like, subconscious or consciously, would literally, like I said, I'm scared of Tylenol. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of so many different things I created because I was just scared of death. And I think with that, I could see myself listening to you talk. It would literally, and you saying let it go, it would literally, like, it's not like, okay, it's okay to die, but you literally got to let go of that possession you have of yourself. Like, I, for one, I'm gonna die. So you know what I mean? You have to be, for one, get that out of the way anyways, and just be okay to, like, completely let go. Is that, like,
Totally.
correct? Like, yeah,
Exactly. Because
okay.
it's like, I had a fear of death, and that was also one of my main
Yeah.
reasons why I would like think about it a lot. You know what
A
I mean?
lot.
And I would
Yeah.
just be like, I do not want to be scared of death. This is so stupid. I can't go on my rest of my life being scared of death.
Yes.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not like, I knew that wasn't cool. Like, I don't want to think about it. And
Yeah.
so, like, coming to your realization, like, what does that even mean for you? But
Mm.
ayahuasca will help in a way, because then you realize, like you do kind of die and get reborn, and you do,
Basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
you see that it's a continue, like, you'll come to it on your own, and people could tell you, but it doesn't matter until you really come to it on your own, or at least you really truly have an idea of what death is for you, and what, like,
Mm.
like, maybe what do you want it to be? How do you want your death to be? Things like that.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother level to think,
Yeah.
like, because it's like, because I always would, because I'm like this, like, I don't want to die, like, person. So, like, I was in a long time where, like, I won't even, like, I have 4 children, I have 4 daughters. So it's like, I don't even want to do a will, because it's one of those things, like, yeah, and she just did her will, and she just must have knew she was going
You
to
feel like you're
die.
putting that energy into
I
Yeah, like, I
know.
feel like
it.
I'm setting myself up for my death. So I'll purposely not do responsible shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't want to set myself up to, nah, I ain't going, it's
Right.
weird. Like, it's a
No, there's like
weird,
some truth to that, but like also you have kids, so you want to like probably do it. But I know what you mean. Like, I don't want to
yeah.
get like health insurance, because then somebody's like, or like even all these
But
stupid
that fear
things.
was that selfish, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, that
Right.
fear
Yeah.
was that selfish. I'm being
Right. That's
honest about,
different. That's next level.
even in that situation, which I should be thinking about other people, I couldn't. And I was like, nah,
Well,
I'm not.
have you, is that something that you're wanting to work on or something then? Or you're gonna go into a little bit more?
I have, like, chills that hurt so bad right now. I am already working on it, and that's definitely because I swear, like, I told them before we started the show, I was like, I didn't even know I was doing the show. I wasn't prepared till, I think, yesterday. They just told me, like, last night, and I just got off the road, and we weren't planning on doing any right now. And I was like, this is a gift to me, because I looked over your stuff. I was like, okay, yeah. So because I'm already hearing that I'm working on all these things right now, and I'm looking for the real answers, like who I am and the fears, and act like the reprogram. I'm trying to reprogram. I'm trying to unlearn and relearn, basically. Yeah. So that's definitely one of those things that I want to let go of and understand who I am, so I can understand on how okay it really is.
And you have 4 daughters, they're all girls?
Yes.
And have they asked you yet about it, Death? Because I used to ask my parents and laugh.
Yeah. I have my 6-year-old. She creeps me out the most because she's the one that says, "I'm not afraid to die," and she freaks me out when she'll just say it, and I'll be like, "Don't." Okay, great, but don't say it. You know what I mean? Like, so me and my daughter, we talk about aliens, we talk about spirits, we talk about everything. I'm very open with my kids. When it's weird as somebody else may think it is, me and my kids sit around and talk about it. So yeah,
no, I think that's good because kids, they know more. They are like tuned in. They know stuff, and then they get programmed.
They know way more than adults. I swear.
Yeah, that's cool. That like I was like that too. Actually, in some ways, I was like not scared, but I still had that fear. Like I wasn't like scared, but I definitely had like a deep fear.
Like she even asked, she's like, "Did you She told me a story how she picked me to be her mom."
Yeah, I've been hearing that so much. I hear that.
Oh my, have you? I've never heard of it before. Like, it's making me emotional. I have chills so bad.
Not so much, but like enough where I'm like, it's so cool. Like, I love that.
Bro, she literally told me a whole story and how she literally looked down on me and was like, "She's so pretty. I want her to be my mommy." And I was like, okay.
I got the chills.
That's next level.
That's dope. So she'll like literally recently she brought it up again, and she wants to talk about how she chose or what it was before she got here. And I was like, I'm like, I take it in because I'm that person. Like, I'm like, you know what? I feel like everything I was taught isn't anything of reality anymore. I'm there right now. So
you should totally have her on the show talking about that. That's so interesting. I would totally like want to hear.
Man, if I got all of them on, that's definitely the show because they all got their own ways of thinking. You guys ever seen Matilda?
No,
I can't. I have, but I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's like my movie. Like,
I know I've seen it. I just can't. You have to refresh my memory.
Girl, she was young and she had a family, and her parents and her brother, and they were like, like some, her dad was a scammer. Her mom was like so materialistic and drank and smoked cigarettes and did her makeup. And they were just so, like, I don't want to say hood, but they were white though. So it was like weird. And she was the complete opposite from her whole entire family. She was so smart. She was actually able to like move things and control things with her mind. And she liked to read, and they would try to keep her from reading and all kind of stuff. So she ended up breaking away from her family, and they gave her up for adoption. They like agreed to like, you know what? You don't belong to us. You know what I mean? Like, you belong to be with somebody else. And she got adopted by a woman that actually catered to who she was. And I have a daughter, long story short, I have a daughter that's 11 years old. We call her Matilda because she's like our opposite child of, she just knows everything. She knows every crystal on earth. She knows every president's government. She knows weird stuff that you just think a child shouldn't even know. So it's like weird. All my kids have weird things about them that I think stems from me some type of way.
I'm so interested to know, like, when she like decided that she wanted you to be her mom, like, were you already in a relationship, and like were you about like already wanting to have kids, or was it just because I don't know, I'm just curious because that, you know what I mean, or did they like?
And she's my last child, so
okay.
I definitely was I had children already, and it's weird because her father is actually my oldest daughter's father. So we were separated for like 10 years and went through a lot of different life, things or whatever. So it was just weird. So I was in a weird, and I was probably in a really bad situation at the time. You know what I'm saying? So but for her to say that, it was extremely interesting. I've never heard that. And I was like,
she probably like, Yeah, because I don't know how much thought they think. Because I hear that all these there are a lot of spirits that want bodies, or that want, they want to be like in human form,
Yeah.
and it's like it's like how picky are they going to really? I mean, not. I mean, you know what I mean. Some people are probably just like, I'll just take whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
It's maybe who knows? Maybe we might be doing that ourselves and don't even realize that we're doing that. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, like with you, right? I seen that your birth mom was a Buddhist shaman. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. But you were adopted.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if you felt like you chose your mother or whatnot, but it's just so ironic that being that she's your birth mom and you were adopted, you still, you're on such a deeper path than what most people are on, you know what I'm saying, in this world, you know what I'm saying, being in the healing business that you're in, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder if it's something that maybe, who knows, maybe we do choose and we don't even realize it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But her daughter is awakened.
I was surprised she picked me though. I was like, I know you think I'm pretty, but but they also on some other stuff, because I learned so many different things. Like I'm Rh negative. I don't know if you know that about that.
What is that?
That's my blood type. I'm a negative blood type, which makes it where I've heard that our blood, like whoever carries that type of blood type, we weren't even, they have no idea, like they weren't never able to trace like where we come from, like as a human race ourselves, like with that blood type. It's weird.
RH?
Yeah, Rh negative. And then also how I found out is that if you become pregnant being Rh negative, your body feels as if that baby is not of your species. So it will try to attack, kill the baby, and possibly kill you. So you have to take a shot called Rogam. This is what's told. I learned this my first child. So I'm like, actually, I had a miscarriage my first child. So that's when I learned it. I with a miscarriage, abortion, childbirth, and at 5 months of pregnancy, you have to have this shot. Within like 72 hours too. It's like time sensitive and everything. So basically, I learned about star seeds. And I learned that was a connection, like basically, Rh negative people were like had a connection being a star seed. So me and my kids, we have these conversations, like I said. So they just like, my mom's an alien. That's what they're like, that's what they go around and they believe it. They're like, yeah. So they like, and it's just weird. Like all of us like literally can do different things. I have a daughter that she's able to speak to and see spirits,
extraterrestrial,
that were passed. So can my oldest. So it's so weird. Like we're like
cool.
We're like the modern day Addams Family.
I'm gonna look into that though, because I am into blood types. I think it is pretty interesting, and I don't know. I've never heard of that one.
That's weird because. Yeah, I would have expected you to like know. So I'm like, because I keep trying to figure out more. Like,
blood is like important. Like
very
blood,
big.
Like our blood is like really like a lot.
It's like
key. Even how we were created as humans. Supposedly, it was like some blood and clay, and like that. They're like alchemized like humans out of like blood, and you know what I mean.
Right.
Not necessarily.
So that was just, and I only that through pregnancy. So I would have never known, like literally. And like, I know it's a special type because like if something was to happen to me, like I can't receive anybody else's blood or anything. That's why I can't carry. It's like weird because you're basically like, you can't carry human babies. Like it's so weird. Like, well, what am I? You know what I mean? Like it's the weirdest thing I ever discovered about, especially.
But your parents aren't? No. Is that okay? I guess that's possible.
I thought so too, but neither one of them are. My mom definitely isn't. My dad isn't.
Okay, so
I don't know where I came from at this point.
We'll figure it out. We'll get down to it. I mean, it must be something special though, because blood is. I mean, yeah. I mean, there could be. I have to look into it a little bit because it could be really special, or the worst case is that like maybe it has to do with like. If like, I don't know, I don't even say, but I'm kind of like an anti-vaxxer, but I don't think that would turn your whole.
I am.
Me too.
I am, but it kind of right now I'm trying to go through that too with myself, with my children, and like, how do I fight against this legally and stuff like that, you know? So like, because I am for sure.
I don't want to even say anti-vaxxer, but I'm just like, not, it's like if I knew that they were actually working and if there was actual like legit science that shows that how it works, besides all the stuff that shows how bad it is, then I might be for it.
Yeah, definitely. If I could, so see real results.
There's a lot of good information now that like really allows people to see how dangerous they really are, and the type of people who are behind them, you know what I mean, the type of they're not good people, like the intentions that's behind the vaccine, you know. It's just like,
so it can't be something that's so great.
Yeah, it's like, why can't we just have like superfood, like some insane superfoods and things, you know?
Yeah,
or just
because
don't
really
allow.
that's all we really need is, you know, the right natural things that boost our immune system.
If they didn't allow like really, really, really crappy processed food, that would help so much. But instead, they want to like shoot us up with some weird shit.
Yeah. And then eat plastic, basically.
We're vegan, so we can definitely relate to you with that when it comes to bullshit food out there. But with your mom, do you and her communicate quite often, or have you spoke with her since you've gotten into the field that you're into now?
I have, but she speaks Korean and I speak. I'm like American. I speak. See, that's how American I am. I speak English, and so it's challenging for me to really like totally feel into it. And she's probably kind of we haven't gotten a real deep conversation about it. Like, I feel like she has it in her because we've talked a little bit where she's like, I just knew, you know, I just knew that I could, it was like inside of me, you know. That was like the deepest thing she said to me. But besides that, she was like worried that me being in this field, like I wasn't going to make enough money and stuff, like the kind of Korean, that's kind of stereotypical Korean people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but she doesn't know everything. But no, we're not like tight like that, you know. And I mean, she definitely has clients, and she has like this whole like temple in her I guess it's like an apartment or something, and it's like a whole room, which is really cool, and it's like decked out, like it's just like whoa. And that was cool. But I think she's like, you know, it's weird because, okay, when you go down the path and you meet a shaman or you meet a coach and then you see them in their coaching element and you're like, wow, like I really like this person knows a lot, like I'm learning this person knows something, or they're tapped in. But then you see them and they're just kind of like on the street, like hailing or like, you know, I don't know, being like just normal. Then it's kind of like, wait, I don't know if they have it. But I think that like it's something that you have to kind of get into, you know what I mean? Like you can't really judge someone by like if they're out having a drink one day and that, you know what I mean, or whatever.
It's kind of like an athlete. Like some people look at an athlete, they'll be like, okay, so if they're good at like basketball, football, they should be good at everything else. But they forget that they're just good at their job. And they're still human beings, just like somebody else. You could be good at your job, but then you go do something else and it's like, hey, this isn't my job. That's why I'm not the best at this other thing, but I'm still good at what you know me to good.
Or or they look up to them because they think that they're like, they put them like on this pedestal. And it's okay to have role model. I mean, I don't know. There's different ways you can look at it. Like, I'm not saying you need to put anybody up there, but like, I think when it comes to certain healer type of people, like they can tap into it. And then it's like they're like in a different kind of frequency and things.
I'm on like this thing right now where like, I want to like break down the programming and show people like the different light, because like I'm not this, I have a small world. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not this huge person, but I have a big following on social media, and not all of them either. Just one of them actually is my biggest one. And then people look up to me for that because I do a lot of videos when I speak and I just say something random on my mind. And they held me up so high because I'm always like on some real positive shit, whether I'm cussing or whatever, but they still put me here. And then like I switched my whole thing up and I did something like I want to do. Like basically I started OnlyFans recently, and people were literally like hit me up like, oh my God, I looked up to you and da da da. And I'm in the most, like elegant way possible, but in the most like harsh way of showing people like, for one, I am still who I am, and I'm going to continue to be who I am every day. I'm not changing that for anybody. And I am so big on that, where I just cut my hair off recently. Like, I want to make my own rules, and I push that on other people. You do you, and stop boxing people in, because it's just not fair. We're our own human. You can't sit in front of your temple all day and just wait on someone to come help. You have to get out and go to the grocery store and feed yourself, and you know what I mean? Or go hang out with your friends, and someone might catch you at a bar. Like, you have to still live in your
Yeah.
experience
Be
that
a
you
real
were
person.
given, because it was given to you for a reason to be here, and you can't just go in a box and hide the whole time you're here because someone put you in this little shell because you do this or you're good at it. So like, I'm really big on that right now. I'm like, no boxes, no more boxes.
Yeah.
Like,
So I had
I'm
a situation
tired of it.
like that. So what it is like when people like it, and it takes a while to get to this point where um you don't, when you learn not to judge people for every little thing, and also not projecting your stuff. So like there's there's like the intuition, and then there's like the projection. And I think a lot of people, they might have this feeling and they think it's their intuition, but they're not totally, I don't want to say advanced because that sounds like elitist, but maybe they haven't really like worked through their own stuff, and it's really a projection. Like, so they're like, oh, I feel weird about sexuality because so that means like it's bad, so I'm projecting that on you. Or even like, or like, taking money from people that are guys, or like whatever, or like, it's not even taking money, it's like they're giving you money, like
it's a service.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you reaching through the computer screen and going into their wallet. They're making the decision on their own.
How I choose to do my own is it's only my sacrifice. It's not anybody else's. So if I'm sacrificing being humiliated or judged or anything, or even my own feelings of myself, it's still mine. It doesn't belong to anybody but me. You know what I mean? And I think we would be at a better place if we just start learning that we have so much to worry about with ourselves. We shouldn't have time for others.
Yeah, judging is weird. I mean, I think it's different if you judge someone because or like that what they're doing is like not cool, like they're hurting people,
right?
Then maybe you can kind of judge.
Oh, that's different.
But if someone's doing something just because they're doing it, it's just like, let them do whatever they want to do. Honestly, I mean, it's not just that. It's literally, don't project your shit onto them, because it's like, figure out, why does that bother you so much? You know what I mean? Like, people need to realize it's like, why does that bother me?
Listen, when I learned that word projecting, it's been my favorite word, because but it gave me like where I'm able to recognize it instead of feel, because people they're ready to project to make you feel bad. You know what I mean? And I had to realize, like, oh, you're just projecting. And that's like my new thing now.
It's like handing you like a sample with spikes on it or some shit. Like,
and people don't know what that means. It's like, no, because like, you have a problem with it. I don't have, that's your problem. Like, so you're putting your problem onto me, or your beliefs onto me, or your issues, your traumas.
It's yours. Like, you know what I mean? Even when you say you're like this, like, sometimes I've actually talked to people where they'll be like, oh, you're this, and I'm like, I'm not at all. And that's when I had to find out. Somebody told me what projecting was, and I ended up, because like I'm like, why would they say that? It like wasn't even true. You know what I mean? I was like, that's so weird. But I've had people do it several times where they'll literally say something about you, and it don't even be true. And I don't be like, are you okay? Like, you're telling me this, right? You should tell somebody else that would believe it. Don't tell me I know the truth.
Moon speaks. Go ahead. I was gonna say, speak to that.
I'm okay with when people like say something, but when you feel like this force, like okay, like if someone's like, I don't like fuck with that, or like I don't like that, like I wouldn't do that. That's fine. But when you feel like this, when you feel like this like energy being really like pushed into your
and it hits you in your stomach,
like a really heavy thing, that's like a projection for me.
Yeah, when it hits you in your stomach and you're like,
Yeah.
almost sick, like, oh my God, did you say that? Like,
Yeah. So no, so I just had a situation with this. So this is what I had to like, actually someone reminded me of this. So as women, we are like, our sacral area and it's open a lot. So what we need to do is like, in that time, like if we think something might happen, or even in the morning, you have to dial it down, like close it up a little bit, like, which is like literally you can do it with intention. If you think of like these wheels, the chakra, like you turn it down so it's just not so open to receiving other people's projections
oh,
and like fields.
I
And
think I'm low key like building that as a thing, like, and don't even know it. That's why I've been
building what?
like that, like learning how, not, I wouldn't probably say build, but learning how to like maybe shut
Strengthening.
it down where I'm not accepting it. Like I refuse to accept unless it's literally given to me to learn, or you know what I mean, or feed me in some type of positive way. Like, because even negative things, I'm okay with taking negativity too, because I've learned a lot through negative. Like I probably learned more through a negative situation than a positive situation. But it's those things that where I feel it and it's like, this is just judgment. This is just you being, you know, judgmental. This is not healthy at all. This is not going to benefit me. This doesn't serve me. And I'm learning how to like literally like close myself
Protect.
to that, where I can like I'm building a protection shield around me from that.
Yeah.
Because those things can definitely dictate how you feel and what you go through. Just hearing people and how they think about you. You know what I mean? So
Is that something
yeah.
you think, Moon, that celibacy could help? Because I know, like you spoke about, like you were celibate for, I think, like you said, like 2 years and 9 months or something like that, right?
Yeah,
And
crazy.
Yeah, I was interested to
I
hearing
have a
that.
trainer,
Yeah.
like he actually, at one point, he went a year. You know what I'm saying? So
A year is good. Yeah.
with during that time, would you say,
Decade.
because you spoke of like the celibacy healing sexual trauma, right? And then you also spoke about how somebody can be so celibate to where it can become unhealthy. Like, if you wouldn't mind dive into like the benefits of someone, you know, being celibate, and when they know like, okay, it's going a little bit too far, now it's time to release and let
Yeah.
yourself, you know what I'm saying, get back into it.
For me, I think I just wasn't really being satisfied by the sex that I was having. And I just wanted to focus on myself. And it just helped clear my field. I mean, even in my head, because you never know, like if you start having sex with someone and then there's emotional things and then you get hurt. Like I didn't even want to deal with that anyway. Or dumb things like, oh, he didn't call, or like, you know, like I mean, I'm not like into the playing games, but you never know. You're like, he didn't text me, like, or dumb shit like that. I don't have time for that right now. Or I did, you know, and I don't now either. But like, any of that. So it was like on multi levels, and then definitely the energetic level, and then I mean, it's just a choice. Like, I'm not saying people should do it, but I think like if people are always if they're constantly bitching about their sex and their partners and this and that, then it might be a good idea for them.
Right.
You know, because it's like then you won't have to bitch about shit for like a while at least.
Right.
You know, at least don't, you know, like you know, I mean, just think of it in different whatever way.
It's like, help yourself, please.
Yeah. Like, why did you know? I mean, you have to come to that reason on your own. You know, like I wouldn't listen to somebody who said to do it, because I know some teachers say like don't do it, but it really needs to come from a place where like within
yourself.
You know? Yeah.
Do you feel somebody could subconsciously project something on another person if they have that energy exchange? You know what I'm saying? As far as like, can somebody literally like could you see where you may let somebody in, right? And after you and that person have sex with each other, you start to feel like, damn, some of the shit they got going on in their life is being projected upon you just because of that energy exchange.
Yeah. I mean, like, think about like all the times that we probably had sex drunk, you know what I mean? And whatever the hell's going on, you don't even really know. I mean, drinking definitely creates holes in your auric field, and then the other person also. And then it's just like, even if it's not intentional, like things get mixed around, especially during, you don't like, basically for the drunkenness, it's like you don't even know. But then if it's like, let's say it's somebody who you're having sex with, that's just kind of like, you know how like some guys, like they'll be like aggressive, like, I mean, or like, well, I don't know, I mean, and it's like almost like we kind of like that because we didn't really know, like we thought that was cool that they're like fucking, like, all their shit out on us and we liked it. Like, I don't think that's good anymore. It's like, nah, I don't want it like that. Like, like back then it would be okay. Or I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? Or, I mean, that's another example, but like, then there's people like they have sex and then they may even feel shame after. I mean, there's so many different things that yeah, that they could feel like, or like, like degrading women, like, like just like, or like, thinking that like using, or there's so many weird things. Like, I don't want to be with someone who's having those thoughts and those feelings as they're having sex with me. You know what I mean? Or as we're doing this act of like intimacy. And that is actually when you want the sacral chakra open. So it's kind of like really just like nurturing and loving and stuff. And then if it is open, then you're getting like people's like weird stuff. But I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's just being smart about it and understanding that, like, even if it takes, like, you don't have to be celibate to understand that, but it like, you know what I mean? But understand that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cause you can at least get into where you're choosing wisely when to use this energy and who you're using it with. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm in that right now. Like, I was telling them before, I thought, because we came to a realization that, you're not really addicted. You just go through this thing, whatever. But I thought I was addicted to sex. I was.
Like, when you had a partner, or when you were like, or just
both.
Okay, like,
yeah, it wasn't like where I'm on a rampage and like it's a different guy, like like I'm not. It wasn't that bad, but even if I'm with it, like I was in a 5-year relationship, we even ended up married. And I mean, it was a situation, we both had that problem, but he had that problem outside of the home too, as well. So it wouldn't be just with me, it would be with other people. And then when I did become single and I broke from that, like it would, like, I would try to like latch on someone else to be that way with, but quickly realize like this not worked out now. So now I'm finding somebody else. Now I'm finding someone else because that didn't work out. And then I'm like, wait a minute now, shit, you can't do that. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be out here like swapping them out because they ain't work. Right. So it got to a point where when you said it got for you where you wasn't satisfied anymore, that's when I hit to like, but I don't even like this shit. Like, I don't like what I'm doing right now. Like, and if I can't find what's right for me right now, then I just need not to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other things, I started feeling like, I just felt like my vibrations were getting higher, and I started realizing stuff on my own, like who I was and trying to figure out who I was. And so I just got to a point too where I'm like, I'm a goddess. You can't touch me. Like got that at that point. That's where I'm at that point. Like, for real. Like, I'm at that point where I'm like, nah. You can't. Like, if you are not here to like serve me good and be a god next to a god, like I can't do that. Not sexual. I could talk all day on the phone with you and all that, but I'm not having sex with anybody that.
Yeah, I think like from what you were saying, like when you like doing it, or for people listening that they're just constantly doing it all the time, it's like, what is it feeding? Is it feeding your ego? Is it feeding some sort of need for attention, or some need for like release, or like
because I was counting on other people to give me the confidence or the love, the happiness, the anything I thought I needed. I was counting on other people, and when I realized that, I'm like, I'm counting on other people knowing damn well someone could never treat me as good as I could treat myself. You know what I mean? And I just got that point because I was like filling in. I was realizing like how lazy I was. Like, you don't do it yourself, so now you're trying to get other people to do it. You know what I mean? So I had to like reverse it and work hard, because that's work. When you get into you, it's work. It's not something that happens over the night. I'm literally a student right now as we speak. I have not mastered anything, or not, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But it's real work, and it's like commitment and discipline that comes with it. But once you start getting in a role of it, it starts to feel so good. You realize like, this is the way. I mean, for me,
Yeah, and taking it slow. Like if a guy can't like take it slower, like okay, we can like do XYZ, but I don't want to do whatever ABC and or you know what I mean. It's like and still have fun and still and if they can't like deal with that, I don't know. They're just so they need to. And then I think like a lot of guys like they need to be. They need to be in control of whatever's going on with them. Like they expect us to do everything down to the birth control or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't but down to even as like, why can't, that's partially you too. You can also come up with, figure out how to control things and, be responsible or whatever,
Do you think it's possible for people, because I'm going to go all the way back to like being a teenager, right? And I remember a friend of mine was dropping me off to a girl's house. And then he was like, bro, he's like, well, what took so long or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I'm not in there like going crazy. Like, it's not like that type of shit. I'm intimate with the girl. We're not together, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure that she's enjoying it too. And I never forget, the dude was a little older than me. He goes, but you're confusing her. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, if you don't go in there just like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just going in like on a mission, which now I understood what that is because you said feeding the ego. If you don't go in there with that approach, it can confuse the girl and maybe she's thinking that it's something else, right?
Like you really like her and you want to be with her.
So with you speaking on celibacy and speaking on like the energy exchange and everything like that, do you feel it's possible for somebody to be intimate with another person and they actually take the time to make sure the other person is pleasured, but it just be that, you know what I'm saying? Can they be casual like sex partners and it not be more than that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm wondering, like, was he right? You know what I'm saying? Is that something that be confusing to a female where it's like, well, damn, it didn't seem like it was only this when we was laying down.
I mean, I think having a conversation about things like intentions of it's nice, but if that doesn't happen, I think it should be an even exchange in some sort where, okay, well, there's different tactics. So I would say it should feel like both people are giving and both people are receiving, but also in the end, like being like, okay, your energy goes back to you and my energy goes back to me. And there's ways to kind of seal it. Like, okay, so one way to seal it, which might people, it has maybe a stigma to it about being soft or whatever, or maybe, I don't know. But like basically like after sex, like to spoon, like just to do a regular spoon to close out, like, because sometimes it's like, what do we do? Or like, or you know what I mean? It could be maybe like someone has to get up and use the bathroom real quick or this, or, all these things. I would check their phone, but it's like, no, take a second, just like spoon, like take some breaths, like kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like closing out what just happened, like sealing, like, or, kind of like bringing it back down. And then
so no one has to get like feel damaged in some type of way. Is that what you mean? Like, so like when you're done and someone just gets up, you go to the bathroom, you go do that or whatever, like get dressed or something, and it's like
wouldn't that make it even more intimate? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait, so you're trying to say, okay, wait, so your question was like more like, can you just, I don't think I got your question totally. Like you're saying,
I think he's asking, can you like actually give somebody the real, like, the satisfaction, not just go in there and just get a nut real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when you hear people use the analogy, the difference between fucking somebody and making love to them, right?
Like go in there, actually please this person, taking time on this person's body sexually, but
not
like without it being confusing to that person and thinking like, oh, well, see how he has sex with me, girl? I know he like me. We're gonna be together.
Oh, like, right, okay.
Because what was funny is, I'm not gonna lie, when I was in high school, I was on some shit like, I'm gonna make sure she enjoys it, so that way when she go back to school, of course I know she gonna tell somebody. I'm gonna keep it to myself, but I know she gonna tell somebody, and she gonna be like, oh shit, like it was actually enjoyable. It wasn't just like every other boy in high school, but when my homeboy was like, you're confusing them, it did end up turning out that way a few times where I'm like, well, damn, like, it was just this, but I can see where maybe they're right. Maybe I did confuse her because I didn't just go in just stabbing like how some of my homeboys were doing when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, how does that work?
I've heard that. I've heard where guys be like, you got to have sex with a certain girl, how you feel, but you need to have sex with them according like that way.
I don't like that, but I mean, it's whatever. Okay. I would say in that case, it's having the conversation, because then you're leaving, like if you're misleading somebody and then that's going to cause a negative thing with her, like, cause we're all emotional beings actually, even though God, a lot of people have created barriers, you know what I mean? I think it's a misconception to think that we aren't, we all are very emotional.
Yeah, I can agree.
We all have feelings, but we just create things. And so I think for that, it would be like having the conversation, like, but why wouldn't you want to be, I don't know. I don't really agree with that. Cause I kind of think like you would want to be your best every time. Like if you're more of an evolved,
Exactly.
like it might feel the same kind of for a guy, but like, you don't like I said, like if you're gonna leave somebody feeling a certain way, that's not any sort of anything less than like a loving state, then why would you want to do that? You know what I mean?
And I think it goes back to what you were saying, feeding the ego. And when you spoke about, because one thing you mentioned when you spoke on celibacy, you were like, it wasn't enjoyable. So I could be wrong in what I'm guessing, but I feel like maybe the sexual partners that you had leading up to the celibacy, they were feeding the ego. They weren't making sure that it was an enjoyable experience on both ends, to the point where it was like, damn, this shit isn't, I'm not even enjoying this anymore. So I need my space, because people aren't mirroring my energy. You know what I'm saying? They weren't at the level that you were at. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was wondering, like, damn, that could be like what my homeboy was talking about back then. Like, he was trying to feed the ego, and I was on some shit like about mirroring the energy and making sure the girl was enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? So
I just wanted it to be more. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy it, but like knowing that I'm going to enjoy it before doing it is for me worth it more than going into it and not really knowing what I'm going to get kind of situation, I think, you know, or like knowing like what's going to happen, like, or, you know, or, okay, like, I don't think I was attracting the right type of guy. It was like a mix of things. It was like a whole mixed bag of like reasons why I wasn't with the type of person that I wanted to be with, and like that.
So even if it was sensual, the energy just wasn't aligning. Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like
totally.
it was definitely.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe it's not what I'm hearing. Like, it's not so much of just sex. It was like even the outside of that, what I'm receiving from this person. That I know for me that made me like too, like, oh, I'm not even getting anything out of this person even outside of that.
Well, for me, I think it's like I think this is where I'm at. I mean, sometimes I might say things where I'm not like 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that if I'm having sex with someone, I at least want to be like a friend and a supportive friend, and like have a relationship of some sort of a nourishment. You know what I mean? Because it's like if I'm gonna have sex with them, I don't want to just be like just doing things and that's it.
Yeah. Yep. That's where I got. And that's where I ended up. That's why I said I ended up getting in those situations where, okay, now it's this person and it doesn't work out. And it was the next, you know what I'm saying? Because I realized like, oh, they just have that to offer. And
so what do you mean when you say it doesn't work out? When you say it doesn't work out?
Work out as far as like, I looked at it like wanting exactly what she was saying. Like, I want some type of connection with the person I'm doing this with. So not, I just hit you up when I'm ready for a booty call shit. And it got, who I was attracting, it was that. And I was like, so therefore it's so many different things though. I could like bounce around to different reasons on how I came to the conclusion to stop. And you know what I mean? But that was just one of many, just realizing like, you know, they weren't on that. And then it's like, it makes me realize like, I don't think all men ain't shit. I was like, okay, what am I doing with, what do I need to do for myself so I can attract better?
I can only guess maybe women are more mature. Maybe because one thing I noticed.
I wouldn't say that.
It's like with Moon,
I don't like
a lot
to
of the
put
stuff, like Moon seems very fluid. Like a lot of the stuff that I see you put out, Moon, is very fluid. Like you're not like you're very concrete about being able to be free. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to ideologies and concepts. You seem like you don't really sit in something like quicksand. It's like you'll gather from something and then you'll move on, right? You'll allow something to, you know, to morph into something else, you know. And I think that could be a reason why a lot of people may join like your portal and things like that. But maybe I'm gonna guess that some men, they don't know how to be sexually active with a woman consistently without thinking that, okay, this is going to turn into a relationship or a commitment that they may not be ready for yet. So that could be why you
But
know.
can they still be friends with the person? They don't. Maybe it's okay. Maybe I am okay with that. Even at this moment in my life, I'm okay with having sex with someone and being like, we can be friends and have feel like and care about each other and have love for each other. But we don't need to like be with each other every day. We don't need to text every day. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
but they have to be real. Like I have to feel like that they're being real. Like they're. But also, I don't want to be with someone who's sleeping with tons of people, but I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I mean, and I haven't come, it's not like I'm super strict. Like I want to be also fluid, like with it. I don't want to be like, I'm only going to be with someone who's going to be my man and that's it. But no, I don't want to be with someone who I know is like sleeping with tons of people. That's just not appealing.
That's what I'm saying. Like I felt like I started confusing people because it was like, I'm very open to this, but then I don't like it to go this way. Like I would say, you know how you say that? Like, okay, yeah, I don't mind us being single and we're not really in a real, committed relationship and we're together every day, but I don't want to be the one of many either. And so I would confuse people even with that because like I said, I have 4 daughters. That's been like my huge thing where I won't allow someone to live with me. So I'm never really looking for that, to be real. Like if I stumble on that and it's that time and okay, but that's something I just don't look for anyway. So it's weird with me, and I think I confuse them a lot of times too because they're like, well, she doesn't really want this, but she wants this, and it's I don't know how to
it's
really.
Funny. Maybe it's like how Moon, how you do your
decided
portal.
to stop.
Like
So.
the Moon Mason portal, like it opens, I think it's 4 times a year, 1 week at a time. So it's kind of got to be like, that type of level of understanding. And I know with you, Moon, with the portal, it's only a certain amount of people are let in at a time. Am I right?
Like right now, I'm actually trying to decide what I want to do with it. I do love it, and I love the people, and I love how the people are actually showing up, and we're doing work together and things. But I might like I really really love it, but I'm almost thinking about doing more things where I do like monthly kind of like online things, so it's like I could get more people there instead of like feeling like they have to join, because you know how people are, they want to kind of test the waters. So instead of like having to join something and feel committed like monthly, even though they can cancel whenever, it would be more like, okay, I'll try out this thing for an hour or 2 hours and then if I'll go to her next one, or I'll go, because I do want to do stuff, but I don't know if I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I do love it.
It's all about communication.
So it's kind of like I can't talk so specifically on it because I'm not sure like 100% what I'm gonna do with it.
Can we get into, are you open to talk about your path and how you got here to even be this? I don't know if you consider yourself a light worker or there's so many other things, you know what I mean? But this person that, helps people in the way you are, like how was your path before all this?
Oh yeah, no, I was definitely living a super toxic lifestyle. I freaking was I was never like bad. Like I was never doing anything like I know my intention was never like really bad, like gross or like dark. But no, I like used to like do like stripping and dancing, and then I even did like a little bit of like escorting stuff, and I did like, or whatever you want to call it, people call it different things. But I also always was entrepreneurial, so I always had business. Like it wasn't my focus. I was always like very business oriented, and then like, I mean, no, but one of the main reasons I did it was just because I wanted more money. Like I wanted, and I just needed money. It wasn't like about like it wasn't like about using men or like trying to like hustle like that, or like no, I guess it was kind of a hustle, but it wasn't like I had no respect for them, or
it has nothing to do with that.
It's a business.
But some girls who are in the industry, they're just like have all these like they act so like they put on such an act. Like I wasn't like that type.
Just for sure.
Like and then I guess I don't know. I think like that really I learned a lot from that, because it's like you're meeting so many different people that you wouldn't you wouldn't normally like meet at a party, or you wouldn't, or whatever. Like I was going to places, more like kind of like that downtown kind of scene in New York, but like so I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about myself and men, and that they're like, it doesn't matter the age. Like most of them are just like the ones that we're seeing, they're not super evolved men. And now, oh sorry, I'm like kind of getting off track, but like now men are, and I think they have to, because women are, so they have to step up if they want if they want like a woman goddess that like is like gonna like feed them energy and support them and like and do all this stuff for them, like even down to like whatever, massaging them, cooking them, making love to them, then they need to step it up, or they're gonna get the girl who's like depressed and sad and not, and you know what I mean, and that there's a lot of, you know, or they're gonna show up like one way, but in the end they're gonna realize, wow, she's really wounded, like she has a lot of trauma, she needs to deal with all the stuff, and
for sure.
Yeah. But okay, so no, and then I just, for me it was like just through yoga, like I knew like the drinking, every time I would get so drunk, you know, like when you get in that stage, you're like, I'm never drinking again, like how many times until you really actually stop. I mean, that was a huge
and did that come with like the dancing, and did that come with that part of it? Like when you're
mean, no, I was always drinking since I was like 13, younger,
right.
but it did but it definitely, you make more money. I mean, unless you're a strict, like unless you're the girls who are really smart but also like fake about it, they could maybe not drink and be like super like hustle mode or whatever, but me, if I'm drunk, I'm having fun, I'm not, and then I'm making more money, you know. See, but
I was the one, I tell people all the time, I was the brokest stripper ever, because I was the one that like I didn't drink a lot and I didn't do any other drugs, so, and I didn't have a good hustle game, so I sucked all the way around. I sucked. I just quit. That's how I ended up. When I realized I just suck at something, I just quit, because it's like, no, this is just not you. You gotta figure it out. And that was me. I ain't have either one, so it was like it just didn't work. I was like,
that's so funny.
I gotta try something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird place, but even being in that uncomfort, like it's so interesting, like putting yourself in these uncomfortable positions, like. I don't know why I've been doing it. Now I don't need to do that, but I used to always do that. But I feel like there's always something to learn from it, like whether it's dealing with like mean people or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I've learned more through negative experiences than positive.
Yeah.
Moon,
I don't know
you
why
opened
I do
up
that to me.
About, I heard recently you were speaking to somebody, you opened up about when you were in New York, it was a time where you would like stare at yourself in the mirror sometimes and literally like repeat to yourself, like, I'm ugly, you know, like literally saying that repeatedly. If you wouldn't mind, speak about where that was, when that was, you know, in the timeline of your story, and how you got past that, you know, like, I don't know, did you look the way that you look now aesthetically, or like what? I'm just trying to put it together.
I mean, I was always pretty, like, I feel like I always got, like, I always had dated, like, even in high school, I'm dating, like, the, like, most popular guys, and always having, I always was, like, pretty, but, like, I guess, you know, when you're drinking a lot and when you're eating a lot, you start just declining, like, how you look, because, like, your face gets more swollen, like, the things are happening, like, your body, everything becomes unbalanced, like, even like, okay, I actually think that like everyone is actually symmetrical, but it's through all these things and projections and food and bad things that we're doing where we start becoming not perfectly like beautiful, like a dog or like a snake, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Because like if you look at a bird, they're like perfect, but we actually should be too, but we just are consuming all these things. But I was just like really negative. I mean, I don't know, I was just like kind of, I had a negative cloud not over me all the time. I've always been like really outgoing and fun, and I mean that sounds stupid, but I really have been pretty like outgoing and like I don't know, positive, but I still had something in deep embedded from, I mean, like, I like even people making fun of me, like when you're younger. I mean, most people had something, not everybody, but I feel like most people got made fun of just of like how they looked or something, you know?
Sure. Was there a defining moment that got you past that? Can you remember, like, you know what? When this happened, this is when I got over the hump, or right around this time, it was like, okay.
Well, when I started changing my language, that was one major thing. So like never even saying, that's like, it's so hard, or like, I can't do that, or like never even saying things like that.
Did you learn that from somebody?
Yeah, well, actually, I learned that in my first yoga teacher training. Like, instead of saying it's so hard, say it's not easy. Like, you know, like just change. Then your mind here is easy, and like just say, and just the more you bring it, and it seems so cheesy. It really does seem cheesy, like especially when you first start. And you've lived like this life of negative thoughts, but you have to fill it, your mind, your subconscious, with positive things so it can start working for you. You have to, like, you literally have to just keep telling yourself you're beautiful, telling yourself that you're perfect, tell yourself that you're smart, you're well spoken, you're right, you know, and because how many, you probably told yourself like, oh my God, I'm so stupid, why did I say that? Or like, oh, that was a stupid, or someone said that was a stupid thing to say, or whatever, and it gets stuck in you somehow, even if, you know, like, I mean, I'm sure we've all been told that, oh, like, you're an airhead, or you're a valley girl, or I've got so much, so many things, like, when I was younger.
And unlearn the what it is to have an ego, or when you're using your ego, or it being conceited. You know what I mean? Because that was a big word growing up, like, oh, she conceited.
Oh,
yeah. Like, you know, so it was like,
probably against the bullshit.
You have to also, like, you got to understand too, if you can bring yourself, and that's tricky because there's people that feel that way about themselves, but they're so ugly inside. Like, being real. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? So you do kind of got to have an understanding of what it really means, and you got to really unlearn what you were programmed like to hear, and how to use it and when to use it, to a whole nother light of, I feel this way because this is what makes me at my best, to be at best for people around me, people, for the universe, for, you know what I mean, and things like that. And I think that has to be broken down, because people will be around this bitch like with the big head. We don't, and some of them we don't want them to. So we need to make this clear before this airs.
Okay, so this is kind of. This is like another really big one to get to this level, I have to say, is when you really love yourself in the correct way, not the ego way. When you really love yourself the real way, you actually love everyone. Like, you literally love everyone because you go. Like them in your, like, I don't know, it's so deep. Like,
I just wanted you to teach them that, like, say that too, because people, I don't want them to get it confused.
It's
like,
so it's like, that's like I would say it's one of the highest versions of love, but first you have to love yourself the right way, and then you like love everyone. I mean, it's not like, it's, at least you see yourself in them, you see like what, you know, like you have loving feelings for them, but not love, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like we all like
friends, and I trust you with all my business type of shit. Like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, not like that.
You know, because we don't all got burnt like that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just like to make sure that's like understood and known, because sometimes people, you know, we're so used to learning a certain way. So when you're taught something, you still like kind of bring your old ways into the new way, and it's like, no, this is a whole new way completely.
And only you know, like I could go around saying this, anyone could go around saying that they're like that, but only really you know if you're there or not. You know what I mean? And like some deep experiences that you have through your journey, or, you know, where you've had some major moments where you're like, wow, I'm enlightened, or this or that. Like, you can't like go around telling people, because it's like sacred, you know?
It is. Like, I that's why I get excited when I haven't had many, but we've had a couple, like, have a show like this with certain people, because to be honest, this is the only time someone's gonna hear me really talk about it. Like, when these
it's gotta be somebody on your level.
Yeah, when these shows come out, people are gonna be amazed, like, Toya, think like that. You know what I mean? Like, because especially when I speak on my social media, I speak for everybody to understand me. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't say it in a way of like, yes, the moon and the sun. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff I really do believe in. You know what I mean? But I kind of just reach people to where they're at, and I'm able to just reach them in a whole. So it's like, okay, there, you know.
That's perfect. Yeah. And I think that's also a misconception
without putting my own things on it.
Right. But in the spiritual world, like, some people might think you have to talk like super
proper.
like
It's not
angelic.
even proper. It's like the tone and everything.
Like it's almost comical, like the type of people who you see on like a comedy movie when they're making fun of them. Like you don't have to talk like that, you know, and you know, like, you know, I mean, that's all I have to say. Like that's a judgment.
No, I know what you're talking about though.
You know what I
Like,
mean? I'm not the best. I that is something I am working on to try to be a little bit more well spoken and, you know, being a good clear communicator. But I mean,
I think it's good for certain settings, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, people, it's like what you do on your like the Breathe With Me album that you have, you speaking like that on there because that's what it's meant for. Like it's meant for somebody to be able to listen to the affirmations, and you're supposed to speak in that tone because it's calming. But some people who don't understand that, they think that that's the way you may talk all day, every day.
I almost wish I did though. No, like, okay, like, well, in yoga, they would call it like your spa voice. Like, I'm like, I should tone it down a little bit, but I mean, it's not really my authentic voice, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, got you. Oh, you saying like how you speaking on the album? You saying you wish that's how you spoke all the time?
I wish I could a little, because like, okay, for example, if we talk, now I tone it down a little bit. If you talk to somebody from a different country and they speak more eloquently and it just has smoother flow, and to them we sound probably really harsh, so just trying to be a little bit more, but I'm not gonna, it is my authentic voice, you know?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
See, I have like 5, so I can't help it. They just change when they want. So
what do you mean 5 voices?
I literally can like just change the way I talk, how I want to talk, just depending on the setting, or just depending on, I don't know sometimes even how I do it. It's just something, it's me. Like I don't have a set way of how I talk.
Well, yeah, and well, that's also, well, so no, it's good.
Weird.
That's actually what it's called. Oh my gosh, not
Please
mirroring. What is it called? It's called oh
Reading
my gosh.
Room.
What?
No, it's not reading the room. It's not.
No, it's oh my gosh, it'll come to me.
I can do this with my best friend we're like sisters, and today she knows I might have a whole, you know what I mean, new voice today when I like it's not.
Well, like when you pick up things from the other person, like if they
NLP.
What
is it? NLP. NLP is
it's
like for example, you just holding your hands together. If I put my hands together like
and then but it's not it's called a certain thing, but I can't think of the word. It's so annoying. But like if I'm talking like with my hands out and then you start talking like that, then it's like camaraderie, but it's not called camaraderie. Oh my god, build a connection.
That's what he just said his friend would do. I'll have to work on it not to doing it because my body, like just my brain, it's gonna do it. It's just gonna do it. It's guaranteed. Like and I'll definitely mirror even the person I'm talking to, but it's weird when I don't have to. I'm talking to my kids. I'm talking, you know, like to my best friends, people that I'm not even doing it. I still will have my different accents or different tones or different ways of pronunciation. Like it's like I got 5 of them for real. It's strange.
But you know what? But we do that too.
It's
subconsciously to other people. So you know how we like as kids, right? We pick up on other stuff we see. As adults, we still do the same thing. So it's interesting with Moon, with you going from being somebody that would look at herself in the mirror and have the negative self-talk saying like I'm ugly, to having an album out that has like, you know, words of affirmations, you know, that can take somebody's, you know, life to a whole nother level. I think, is that why, like I see you talked about like global distractions, and you said we should limit the time we spend with the phone, computer, and watching TV because of the EMFs and radiation, how it's harmful and lowers our vibration. Is that the reason being? Because you think that some of the stuff that we're consuming, it can affect the way that we're thinking and talking and feeling and all of that?
Wait, what's the reason to say these positive things?
Yeah, like, to limit the content that we consume, or because I noticed
are you saying like with all that, is that maybe like even something that a part of myself? Are you saying that, like about what people like?
Well, pretty much how like, right. So you control some people that you'll communicate with, Toya, because you're watching the way that they're moving and you can adjust and you can do it, right? So in a sense, they're kind of leading and you're following to make them feel comfortable. But I feel like what Moon says about like limiting certain type of content that we consume, some of the content we're consuming as we're watching shit, we'll end up mirroring some of the content that we're consuming.
That's for sure.
That self-talk that we hear them saying, we saying that shit to ourselves without even realizing. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think even some culture has been a lot formed like that. So it's like okay, white people have to act this way, Asian people this way, or our perception of certain races and certain subcultures through just movies.
Yeah, how they cast us.
Yeah.
They look at it. Oh, you got to be a certain. What was the content? What would you say you were consuming back then till now? Like, do you have? Like, I got a homeboy, right? His name's MP. He will literally sometimes take a week off of social media. Like, do you do stuff like that where you just literally say, okay, I'm not going to be on anything?
I do, but not enough. Like I wanted to do it. I'm going to do it soon though. I mean, even one day is good. You know, you feel a little bit refreshed.
Yeah.
What content do you have any go-tos, like certain books you like to read or certain types of sites that you like to check out to get your mind, you know what I'm saying, going to where it is now?
I mean, yeah, I have different places. Like one of my favorite ones is London Real. It's like
London
the digital
Real.
freedom platform. But like, you know, I get emails. So like if I like there's something that I just got in the email, it's like, oh, you have to watch this. It's like a free documentary that's only going to be out or it's free now, and it's called The Need to Grow, and it's like, and I might watch that because I don't know, like I'll like if I hear something that I know is gonna be, I'm more into kind of like documentary style stuff, but that's not to say I wouldn't watch a movie, but I'm gonna watch it in a different way. I'm gonna watch it like kind of like knowing that like what is the intention of this, or like could it be I mean, I'm definitely into conspiracies and stuff. Like,
Have you seen Century of Self?
What?
You seen Century of Self yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Let me
Because I've started watching it, and it kind of goes to the programming, like curated programming.
Is it a documentary?
Yeah, and it's on YouTube, but it kind of talks about some of that stuff you talk about, like that curated programming and
the Century of Self.
Century of Self.
Okay, maybe
I haven't finished it, but
have y'all heard of Black Mirror?
Oh yeah, it's like a fictional series, but they spoke on a lot of shit that's happening right now, right?
It's not a series, it's a movie.
I don't totally believe in Netflix. I don't think Netflix is going to put out the real deal things.
I don't watch TV at all. That's just something I don't do. It's not even about being whatever, you know, I can't get myself to sit down for real, like watch TV. But like for real, it's bad. But a friend of mine just put me onto this movie, made me what it is, and the only reason they got my attention to do so because the movie is about you get to control the movie. It will come up with questions what this person can choose to do, whether you pick a serial or you pick to kill somebody or not, and you have
a guy like fucks a pig and shit like that.
Huh?
Is it where they have like a guy with a pig, like he gets embarrassed, like it's, and okay.
So you have your remote and you have to choose with the remote. You have to literally choose in the movie what this person is doing, which will cause you to either fuck up your whole life in the movie and you die and you have to start over, or it goes in, you done fucked up and made the wrong decision. So you go into a spiral of like back and forth and you can't even get out of this like I fucked my life up situation. And it's supposed to be like 5 main endings to this movie, but nobody's gotten to like, not nobody, but like it's very hard to get to like the key one ending, like how you could really with making all the right decisions. I'm just telling you, it's some crazy.
Wait, so you got to actually pick what you're watching?
Literally, with your remote, you have. Wow, and that's the only reason they got my attention to do so.
Okay. I think I heard of it. Actually,
it will drive you insane. And then it also, basically, in the movie, it's teaching you. It's called Program and Control Pack, and it teaches you that from the beginning of time and the beginning of our lives here, when we're born, we're programmed constantly, whether it's the commercials, whether it's your friends, your family, your every single thing. Because mind you, you're born into people that were already programmed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to go into their programming.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you ever really you're the who you really are on this earth?
It's like politics.
I know
that's think one way or the other.
I think that's why that's
wild.
Why we do all these cleansing and purifying so we can find out who we really are.
That's why I even, I went vegan for health issues, but once I got, started on my path, I've learned that like I refuse to like block anything more just by, the food. Like, so now I'm big on like blocking, you know, vibrations and like, you know, I want to get higher. So like now I'm more on the right foods for that reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Instead
the
of just
foods
health.
will like build the vibration too, the right
Yeah.
one. You know,
Yeah.
the fruits
So
and
like
veggies.
I'm into that now for that reason now. You know what I'm saying? But that movie, if you guys ever get a chance, I'm not gonna drag it out, but
I don't
that
know if I would. I think that sounds
would
like
drive
too
you
creepy.
crazy. Yeah. If you're not into like even wanting to be bought, like I'm not. So it was like, but I got it presented to me. I was like, okay, I'll do it. But and I came home and did it with my kids, and everybody's like going mad in the house. And it's like, see, this is not good.
Wait, but
Adam's
it's
family for
not dark.
real.
It's not too dark or can get dark.
It can get dark, but not like dark. Like I haven't even got far enough in the movie. We've killed ourselves so many times. Like we
That sounds
sent
interesting
ourselves
though.
to prison and ended the movie, like ended our like time in the movie because of the decisions we made. So like I didn't get far into it. I don't know how far it goes. I don't even know the rest of this movie, but it's not like gruesome or like not like that. It's more about learning of you got to understand they are controlling us through every fucking thing.
Okay. I'd be, to be honest,
And
I'd be more interested to see how they produced it and like how they planned it. That
I don't even, I'm like, whoever made this and took
yeah,
time to
yeah,
remake it every time someone makes a decision to something else is
yeah.
insane. I'm like, who sat and made this? That's all I kept
I
asking.
like stuff. I actually like had to think like, because it's very analytical, and I like
Yeah.
to think like that sometimes for sure. Like if you're doing like a wireframe for like an app, like I created an app once and whatever, it didn't I quit. But basically like you have to
She said like it was not created in it.
when they press this button, then they go here, and then they pick this, and like you have to plan all that out. And I like it was fun. I mean, I think that's the
Like
Asian
my
side.
oldest was into it. She was like, "Oh, I'll do this all night. I like doing this type of stuff." Like she just was like, you know, she's kind of like we're all like weird no. So like she's the one like I like this. She's like I'll make myself go crazy all night to do this. I'm like I'm going to bed. Like I'm not doing this anymore. But it just I took a learning thing out of it. That's what I did. I didn't bother myself on not getting to the end and da 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 da. I took what I needed to get out of it and understanding on how programmed everything and everybody is. And I mean, like I said, whoever made it was just a genius.
Okay, I'll have to watch all these different ones now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like this is how I would get my information though. I don't really like if I'm putting on, let's just say Netflix, and I'm like trying to find, I never find anything I like. I'd rather hear it from somebody that, or you know what I mean, like
yeah.
But it makes sense. You're selective about, you know, the content that you're consuming. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you can also waste time. Then you watch something for 5 minutes, you're like, this sucks, and then you watch something and you're like, yeah, I don't like that. What did you?
With my IG, a while back, I ended up clearing out all of who I was following, and like I don't follow any celebrities, like unless they're like a comedian that I like because I like to laugh. So that's my thing. Like if you make me laugh, I'm good. You know what I mean? But I don't follow a lot of stuff. Like so that's how I fix that where I can cope with Instagram because I'm not the visual is different for me. I'm looking at Instagram in a different way. People are looking at it and knowing what Nicki Minaj did last week, and I don't have a clue. I'm looking at what plant consciousness energy IG page put up about a new, you know what I mean, what you could get from a food, and you know what I mean, what you need to know about like reincarnation, that type of stuff. So I really literally went and just flopped my visual of IG out so I can be okay with being on it for sure. So maybe that could help someone, you know, that has to take those breaks from social media.
One thing I had in my notes, I know this is like so off topic, but I wanted to ask you about Moon before we let you go. You had spoke about meeting Donald Trump when you were in New York. If you wouldn't mind, just share what that experience was like when you did meet him, just your personal experience, because of course, you know, everybody has their own, you know, interpretation.
We had sex. No, I'm just kidding. No, I met him at this at one of his golf courses in New York. Not in New York. It was like because I went to a couple events like that. You know when you do like the promotional modeling type of thing, they book a bunch of girls to go to different events, things like that. It was definitely more corporate vibes. It's not like, you know, but I think it was in upstate New York, but it might have been New Jersey. But it was his golf course, and he was having some sort of event. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. And like all the girls, like 100 girls, I think, or something. So he flew in on his helicopter. He's like, I had to come like on these for this because of all these beautiful women. Like, but he's just so likable. And honestly, everyone liked him. And I mean, I think he was just so nice. Like, I just think he was so real. I think he's a real person. I don't think he's a creep. Like, I don't think he's like, yeah, he might be like appreciate a beautiful woman, but I don't think he's like trying to be like I don't think he would ever like go as far as some other people have gone with their sexual things. Like, I don't even want to get involved with that. I actually think he's a good guy. And to be honest, I don't know all the stuff with the politics. I honestly have not been following it. So I know he's obviously said a lot of things that make people really not like him. So I don't know, like, and I don't even really care, but from the information that I gathered, I feel like he's actually like a real person, and like, whereas a lot of these other politicians, like he wasn't a politician, where I think some of these other politicians have been more deep in this dark agenda and deeper into like the corruption, where I feel like Donald Trump hasn't been into, or like he's almost just kind of
he doesn't come from that background. He comes from business. He's a businessman.
Yeah, so I feel like, and then the things that I've also seen about him, people are just like, he is just like such the nicest guy, like, you know what I mean, like genuinely, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like I kind of feel like he became. I mean, no, I don't even really want to go in because I don't know that much, but I guess I'll just say I feel like he became president not because he like really. Like, I feel like he actually think the country needed it. That's what I think. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Gotcha. I mean, you're speaking on your personal
standpoint.
Yeah, you're speaking on your personal experience, and that's something that a lot of people, they're speaking on what they're seeing somewhere else.
What they were programmed.
Your personal experience.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do is speak on your personal experience. So you can say, hey, I seen.
I didn't really into politics, and I think all the government is corrupt. Like, okay, so if you watch the Thrive Movement, the documentary, it's on YouTube.
I watched that. It's like a long video on YouTube.
But it's so good. So, it shows how the government's just right above the regular civilization, all of us, like working people, and then there's the government. But then above them is so many, the hierarchy, like the corporations, the banks, and the elite.
System, how that shit started.
So the government's all. It's not even really like the top. So but I think that like, it's hard for me to even take it seriously, but I think like he can change things a little bit. I mean, I like to think like that. I do like to think that he can, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, at this point, I just don't associate myself fully with it because I just feel like it's out of my hands. And it's like you said, there's way more bigger things than the government. They know what they have us worried about, and it's nothing that they really are doing. You know what I mean? They basically have us all like distracted.
We're going to get ours regardless.
So it's like, well, you know what? I'm not a superhero here, so I'll just do my part on Earth while I'm here, and
exactly.
So
stress myself out.
But before we get out of here, Moon, you yourself, you are a life coach, but you have an OnlyFans. If you wouldn't mind just speaking to that really fast. About being able to be someone that, because there's a stigma behind being a life coach, that you have to be, you live a certain type of lifestyle. Same way like if somebody is a pastor, they think they got to live a certain type of lifestyle.
Right. So
you being able to be a life coach and still having OnlyFans, just kind of speak to that really quick.
Well, they shouldn't be like molesting young kids. No, but no, like, okay. I'll be like pretty much straight up. Like, I feel that I did it to test the waters. Like, I didn't even know about that when, like, even when I had like 30,000 followers, some of the photographers like, yeah, like you'll definitely have fans would buy like photos and things like that. But then, obviously now I have a lot more, but I guess when it comes down to it, I make like a lot of money doing it, and it's not like jeopardize. It's not really, what's the word?
It doesn't interfere.
it doesn't really make me feel like I'm doing anything, or I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. It's not like it's not fulfilling. But when I do see, or when the money is it is nice, and like I can really, like, I've had months where it's just been insane. Like, I know girls, literally, so I have a friend who runs some of these top, like, really, really, like, they have, like, like 10 million followers. Like, they make like I feel like something crazy, like 80,000 a day or something crazy, like a day, like, you know what I mean? I mean, mine's not like that, but it's like a lot, like it's more than most people make in definitely a month, or like definitely. I mean, it's just good, you know what I mean? So like that's kind of why I'm doing it. So until I can find something that, and I actually do have something where I might be easing off of it. But to be honest, like, I wasn't doing it for a while, and then I was, and I'm like, might as well just kind of still do it and make money from doing it right now. So I mean, I have to say it's like more than money.
Right.
I mean, hey, can't knock the hustle.
I know, it's crazy. It's seriously, it's not like I'm doing anything. Like, I don't even do like live videos or anything. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even do like, I mean, I have some videos that are like more sexual and like nude, and but it doesn't go to the extent of porn. I don't think it is, but it does.
Yeah.
I have some like, like, it's like maybe, I guess, kind of like soft-ish porn, but not, how's it porn if, well, I guess it could be. It's not, there's never like a guy in it, or like
see, and it took me a lot to break into just doing it. And I mean, I ain't nowhere near what you're doing, like how much you're making and nothing like that. But I'm also still very new to it. I don't even really, and I don't have a big following on social media except TikTok. So like, it's weird for me, but I feel like it's something I want to do, and I'm okay with it. So I'm like, why not anybody else be okay with it? You know, to be real, these kids know a lot. Okay, they know exactly what's going on. Like, their friends know all that. So they were the first people I talked to about it. You know, I actually got my kids together and literally like, listen, because I didn't want that to be something that they had to deal with, like their friends telling them, or, or I wanted to see if they were able to handle if their friends knew, or stuff like that. So like, I was open with them about it first. So I was like, if my kids can, they're like, okay, I don't care. Like,
I mean, sometimes I even talk to the guy, like, I'll say things like, what do you guys really like? What, like, I've said things kind of like, don't you just want like a real partner? Like, can't you, why?
You said you said it on your OnlyFans?
Yeah, like, not like that. I don't remember how I say it. I'll say things like I want you to like be fulfilled, not like this can't be like super fulfilling, but like, maybe I mean, I want it to be more than just that, and I want to like help them see. Yeah, because that's how I am. I'm not going to change like how I am. You know what I mean? Like, not every post is like that. It's not like I'm like, every post I'm like bashing porn, but I've like.
I get what you're saying. You're saying, if I'm hearing you kind of like the type of release they may get from just looking at you compared to having a person in front of them, or even, I've even heard people say it's a difference when you think about it. So somebody has an orgasm through masturbating, or an orgasm with a partner. You're speaking of when you want the real thing instead of just me on a screen. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and plus, like, masturbating with a hand definitely feels different than an actual
yeah.
And I feel that when guys get so used to that, it might be harder for them to even, you know what I mean? Like, they need, and it's just,
I think everybody's different. I think it's a way to just cater to people in their own ways. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, hey, if you enjoy it, that's you.
But it can be damaging. I think it can, no, but I think that like, if their goal is to really have a partner and a long-term relationship, then like, don't go too deep, or like, don't, you know what I mean? Like be aware of what you're doing. Like, don't masturbate, like, be crazy every day. Like, try to like control it and save it and be.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. That's almost like, when a guy goes to the strip club and he tells a girl, hey, you could be doing this. It's almost like a stripper. Imagine sitting down telling the guy like, hey, like, you can meet me outside of here and we could probably have like a real relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, no, I'm not saying relationship with me.
No. But I'm just saying, I'm just speaking of the way you're communicating with them. It's kind of like, I can't say I've heard somebody say that that's how they speak, you know what I'm saying, in that field, whether it be someone that was dancing, right?
Because people are doing it 9.5 out of 10 times to receive an income, and you're not gonna really want that person, not care, but you're not gonna want to present that to that person like, hey, you know, this is like fake as fuck, right? Just
no, I don't think. No, I don't think I'm fake. Oh
no, not saying you. I was explaining to Alex like why that would not, where everybody would verbally say that to people.
Yeah, don't you want a girl that's
not
real?
You at all. I'm not talking about you at all. I was explaining it to Alex, like literally, like, because he asked, like, well, you know, I've never really heard that. Well, it's not, and you gotta understand, she's a different type of person. She's coming from real, like, intentions that she cares about that type of stuff for real. Yeah. So it actually, if it should come from anybody, it would come from somebody like her versus you don't want to hear that shit from.
She gotta get somebody gonna subscribe to the OnlyFans.
A bitch that don't give a fuck about you for real. Like,
and what they're gonna end up doing, they're gonna end up subscribing to the OnlyFans and then talking to Moon, they're gonna end up being like, hey, let me hire you for your life coaching services. Like, I could really see that happening.
Well, I don't have a set thing. I don't have a set intention for it besides, like, you know, it is a good revenue stream for me, and it doesn't require like a lot of my time or energy. I mean, I can if I'm like, no, it honestly, it doesn't really. Like, there's been times when I'd really be in the messages and like talking to people and, you know, but I mean, yeah, I think it's not, I can't really say anything bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I think some girls, okay, like, honestly, the girls who even do that and put on an act, I'm fine with that too, because they're like providing a good income from themselves or whatever, or maybe supporting a family or whatever. And even if that's not who they really are, even if they're actually, okay, let's say they act like really, really like raunchy or really over sexual, but then in real life they're like a really good person and they're like their personal growth. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I mean? Like, because I think a lot of girls are like that too. Like, they're doing that and they're being smart about it. They're making money, but then like off camera, they're not like that. They're like a different way.
Yeah. Because like
I'm more consistent though, like, or I feel I'm more real with mine, but like, you know what I mean?
And I would agree with you on that, because just the type of person I'm in. And it's not even about boasting or anything. It's not like a better or worse, because it all works if it works. If everybody's getting paid, it's all working. But it for me, myself, that's why I even meant for, like, even as a stripper, I didn't know how to hustle. You know what I mean? So, like, I didn't know how to. I always end up just talking to guys or talking to people in general and
not making money.
Like, or just getting on like some, like, you know, like getting to know them, or just getting on something more real, you know what I'm saying? So my connections, whether they were sexual or not, I've always been able to connect with people in a way, and it's just been weird. So like when I'm on there now, a lot of guys that are following me now are guys I have connections with through my social medias, and they've supported me just by, they follow me and they you know, they write me and they comment on my stuff and like that. So they followed over here to here, and it's like now we have a more intimate connection here, you know what I'm saying? And it's here because they already respect me over there. So like I just have that always follow me everywhere, where it's really never, I want it to be about money, but it ends up being more about connections, because I give somebody like my so real person, whether it's sexual or not. That's just how I naturally am, and I can't help it. It's just
and I feel like if I was in the moment, I did a live and I put my ass in the camera, which I haven't done, but if I did, or like maybe my ass was in the camera, but I didn't put my ass in the camera. But like let's just say like that happened and it was in the moment, it's like, who cares? Like it's like that doesn't, it's not like I'm doing that every single day and that's like what I'm about, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't even think there's anything wrong with that. I really don't. You know,
and I think about that the same way too, because like right now for me to have an OnlyFans is during a time that I'm not actually sexually active with anybody. So you know what I mean? Like I have this going on, but I don't even have anything going on at home. I'm by myself at home, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can understand that, like how people can, you know, not really know that it doesn't have to be that way because you're doing it like this or you're doing this. Like I have that doesn't mean I'm out here. I was worse off before my OnlyFans, let's put it that way. like in real life. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No,
I'm just being
totally.
real,
No,
like just
totally.
being
Totally.
honest, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's true. It's so true. Because a lot of
So-
girls, they don't want to put themselves out because they're afraid of what people will say. But
Yeah.
they're the ones that are really out there, like sleeping with mad dudes. You know what I mean?
In
Yeah.
real life. Yeah.
Yeah, in real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, Moon, we thank you so much.
Yes,
for
thank
taking
you.
the time
Yes,
out.
thank you
to
so
sit with
much
us today.
too.
Something we ask everybody to do here on Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths is to shout out the 5 people that play a part in what we see from them. Because, you know, they say we're some of the 5 people that we are around or communicate with the
Oh
most.
my gosh, I don't even know who. Like I've just
So it doesn't
know
have to
what?
be in order, even if it's just family. You know what I'm saying? It can be that, you know. But yeah, you can shout those 5 people out.
Okay.
In the
I'm
reflection of what
trying
we
to
see.
think because it's like so weird because I really feel like I have like a different connection with like who I am, and I don't really like look up to people anymore, like or okay, but this is kind of messed up too because I also feel like the people who have been the most challenging in your life that have you might maybe like hated the most, you like learn the most from, like they're supposed to be our greatest teachers, but I still don't know who to say. I still don't know who to say. Like, oh my god, this is like really a tough one.
Your dog could be one if that could help you out. Your dog
No,
could be one.
he's crazy.
No, he's crazy, not him.
Okay. No, I should know. You know what? And it really goes to show that like I've been like so like not having like really close people in my life right now. It's like it's kind of how like I don't know, like people come and go out of my life like
Understood. Yeah.
But okay, let's see. I guess I'm just gonna be basic and just say my mom and my dad and I guess I'll say both of my sisters. Wait, am I supposed to like shout them out like and say their name and be like,
I mean, whatever you're comfortable with.
No, okay, let's say I'll say both of my sisters, just you know, because even through hard times, they're still like they really do still, they don't judge me and they can laugh. Like my one sister can laugh and be like, it looks like soft porn and it's fine. But I don't know, like I have so many people now that's coming to me. It seems like funny, like once you say some people, then all these other people are coming up, but like big impacts, it's hard, like really big impacts. Oh my god, like I've had so many so many people get me through certain humps. So like I feel like a lot of people have come into my life, helped me through a certain thing or have been supportive through a certain time period, and then like now we're not close.
Okay.
I think for you it might be more of what you do.
I have to say my ex-boyfriend. I definitely have to say my ex-boyfriend. I don't want to say his name, but like he has helped me so much financially, like in my life, and like that sounds so kind of like basic, but like seriously, it's helped me. So I didn't have to. So I could focus on all my spiritual growth and everything, and I don't have to be all like about making money all the time. I didn't have to be like that. You know what I mean? Where like, you know how it is. It's like you literally, I used to be, I mean, a long time ago, it's basically, I delay on paying rent just because even if I had it, because I'm like, then I'm not going to have any money. You know what I mean? Like that. So it's like, I mean, that was a long time ago, but it's like, I'd have to just say probably those 5 people. So yeah, my sisters, my 2 sisters, my mom, my dad, and then my ex. But I don't want to say like their name.
There we go. No, that's
you
all
don't
right.
have to at all.
That was so hard. That was so hard.
No,
but definitely, yeah.
That's all right. And you can pretty much, no such thing as a shameful plug here at Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths. So everything from hashtags, @ signs, websites, you know, whatever DSPs your album's on, anything, go ahead and plug everything so people know where to find you and invest in what you got going on.
Well, I'm about to work on a site, but it's not up yet. It's moonthegoddess.com, but that will have, because obviously this will be up for a while. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this, it will be up, and that's going to have all of my links. But pretty much just Moon Maison. It's spelled Maison, and you can like find it on iTunes, my album on Spotify. And I'm launching a business soon. But I mean, I think if you just follow me on Instagram, I'm going to be posting pretty much everything there. So my Instagram at Moon Mason is probably
there we go.
This way. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to claim it. The site's going to be up, Moon the Goddess. We're looking forward to it. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you more.
The truth got ugly, so pretty.